welcome back to another episode of Change Wired podcast. My name is Angela Shurina. I'm your host. I'm your partner in personal and collective evolution and transformation. I'm your master health, sleep, stress management executive, life and self-actualization coach, and just someone who is very passionate about learning more about discovering, figuring out, unlocking more of our potential every single day. So together we can create the most extraordinary world around us, more positive impact while living the most extraordinary lives. And today, guys, it's going to be a short podcast. It's going to be a mindset dedicated podcast episode. And I'm going to share with you one quote and one question that will help you to get a lot more motivated for your long-term, very often seemingly impossible goals. This quote and this question will help you to feel more drive every single day for your goals, for getting a little bit better, a little bit closer towards the life that you want to live externally, meaning achievements, and internally, meaning feeling good inside while you are on this journey of living and achieving. Today with a friend in a WhatsApp messaging exchange, we talked about this human doing and human being. Two worlds that I've learned about in the book that I'm currently reading, How to Live a Meaningful Life. Two worlds, transactional world, getting things done, and flow world, or where you are in a flow of things, present in the moment, breathing in the air, smelling the roses, noticing the sensations, the people, the conversations, leaning into the experiences, not just getting through them to get things done. In the book, I was reading about this notion that sometimes even the most spiritual things or things that we want to do for our being, like meditation, for example, or prayer for some of you, can become transactional as well. Like when we just do it to do it. So we sort of put or invest something into our spirituality. It's like, okay, I'm done and moving on to the next thing. I'm done and moving on to the next thing. And yes, we're seemingly doing this spiritual or this maybe religious or it's a more metaphysical kind of thing. But at the same time, we're in this transactional mindset. We are in the doing, not in the being. What I loved in the book, what I loved learning and thinking about in the book is this idea that transactional or flow world, the doing or being, they're not opposites that you need to choose between. They are polarities that you need to use both in your daily life to get your life working with the doing and at the same time feel good, feel alive, experience what you're going through every day with the being mode or the flow world, as the authors of the book How to Live a Meaningful Life talk about. And today's podcast it's going to be more of a setup, and then you're going to get the question, the quote, is all about how to help yourself practically to combine those both two worlds, transactional and flow, doing and being, by using a better mental model or better framework for thinking. And just like with prayer or meditation or physical practice like exercise, the benefit, or with brushing your teeth, I always like to repeat, brushing your teeth, if you want to keep the benefits of your clean teeth, beautiful smile, or if you want to stay clean for life, And because of that, you take shower, take bath, etc. If you want to clean, stay for life, you kind of got to take it daily. So the same with spirituality, the same with being mindful, the same with being in the being mode, not just the doing mode, the same with cultivating certain thoughts or certain emotions in yourself. You got to have a practice. It's kind of like attending to your garden. You don't just plant the plants and go away and hope that the garden will blossom into its beautiful expression of self, right? Yes, plants by itself, they might grow, but so do your thoughts. You will have thoughts no matter what you do, but what kind of thoughts, what kind of flowers? That is a question of care, of putting it, investing your energy and effort. That is the question of practice. And so this quote and this question is something that it's something like a breakfast mantra, a meditation mantra, something that you get back to every day or as much as you need, so then you can cultivate certain flowers in the garden of your mindset. Right? So remember about that when you hear the quote and the thought. How did this quote and the question came to be, or at least came into my world? I don't know what I was going through on that specific day, but I remember hearing this, that quote that was contributed to Donald Trump, which I later found was actually originated more or less from Brian Tracy, one of the oldest, like oldest in a sense that he came into the game early, motivational speakers. And it kind of stuck with me. And I realized that how much stress I was having on a daily basis and actually compromising achievement of my goal and my being every day because I didn't have the right mindset. It wasn't the things, it was how I thought about the things. So the quote was that there are no unrealistic goals, only unrealistic deadlines. And repeating it, there are no unrealistic goals, only unrealistic deadlines. This morning, while we were driving back from the gym, a friend gives me a lift every morning. I shared this quote with a friend, and he said, I like it. I'm going to steal it. It's motivating. And then we kept talking about our goals that all of a sudden felt more doable. And instead of frustration with ourselves, with, how we failed sort of our own expectations, we suddenly felt more drive for action. And both of us were talking about long-term goals. For me, making my $1 million. But for me, it's not about making $1 million. It's creating the kind of impact and the kind of service that creates that kind of abundance. It's helping that many people, delivering that much value, that $1 million is going to be a side effect. So that's what it is for me about. For him, he has his own goals of one nonprofit, also very purpose-driven, something that's very important to him on all levels, spiritual, financial, and just feeling more fulfillment in life. So when we focused on this goal, on this quote, there are no unrealistic goals, only unrealistic deadlines. All of a sudden, we felt this we can actually do it. A little bit more focus, a little bit more effort, and a little bit longer time frame, and we can actually do it. And I collect quotes like this, like seeds of flowers to plant in the garden of my mindset. My clients love them. They always say, oh, Angela, you always have these little things that all of a sudden make complex things more approachable. And that's how I get them. These flowers, these thoughts, I choose to plant in my mind. I choose to remember. It's not about how right they are. It's about how well they serve your life. I always ask myself, does this thought move you closer to the life you want, Angela? Externally in what you achieve, doing, internally in how you feel, being, right? It's tending to my garden, choosing carefully what I want to keep there, what creates a more beautiful garden. repeat this one. There are no unrealistic goals, just unrealistic deadlines. Repeat this one even for a day, even for a week, whenever you feel stressed about not achieving something or not being somewhere. My birthday is coming up in 2 days, so I am feeling like, part of me is that frustration, but then a bigger part of it is like, no, actually, you're living this beautiful life experience and you are moving closer, progressing towards what you want to create more of. And what you're feeling stressed about is the time frame that is very artificial that you put on yourself for no reason. Almost every goal is possible with the right effort, enough time. Repeat that like a breakfast mantra. And suddenly, you're not a failure. Your life isn't over because you've made progress, you worked on it. You just need a little bit more time. What if you gave yourself a longer runway for every goal that you have? Wouldn't it make it possible that you'd actually achieve, that you actually get there while also feeling good? Like that body that you want, that health, that fitness. What if you gave it 2x the time? Double the runway. Let the habits build, let the skills compound, let the nature take its course. That business, that career, that impact, those clients, what if you give it 2x the time with a little more focus and a little bit more flexibility for how things actually unfold in real world? Those relationships you want more of, friends, partners, community of like-minded people, what if you stopped rushing them and stopped needing them tomorrow? What if you just added one good, heartfelt, expanding conversation a day, kept doing that, and let it slowly phase out all the bad vibes that don't bring the best out of you? Every goal, every wish, every frustration with yourself, with other people, with where you are right now, what if you gave it all a more generous time frame? More generous deadline? Wouldn't that change how you feel about it all every day? Wouldn't that change what you do and how you do it? And wouldn't that change your entire life? A tiny quote, a flower worth keeping, with the power to change everything. And the final question, what deadline could you loosen up starting today to feel better, to do better, and to achieve more while having a better life? And that's it for today, guys. So the quote is, there are no unrealistic goals, only unrealistic deadlines. And the question is, what deadline do you need to loosen up to start feeling, doing, and achieving a little bit better? Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Wishing you a being, doing kind of day, both of them. And till next time, keep growing. Hey guys, don't forget to share. At least one other person expand their life, expand the whole world through them, and help. Let's change the world together. Till next time.